Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Raben Report. I'm your host, Elliot Raben, as you might have heard in our intro, and with me I have my expert panel as always. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing good. Life
Yeah.
is exciting.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Awesome, good to hear. So, to our main story. The United States elections. Now, we've discussed the elections, how the people vote, and the first debate on our first episode. However, due to this being an extremely important topic, we've made it into a 5-part series with part 2 coming to you today. So, November the 8th, 2016, the American people will choose between Republican Donald Trump and Democrat Hillary Clinton. Sunday night, we bore witness to the second presidential debate, which has been called one of the worst debates in history in the United States. Regardless of whom you support, the bias shown towards Hillary Clinton, incredible. Moderators constantly debated Trump, even though, I'm pretty sure, the debate was between two presidential hopefuls, rather than one hopeful and two faker-than-Chinese knockoff products journalists. This incident brings the spotlight on the validity of voting. The Democrats have accused Russia of rigging the elections, whilst the Republicans have accused the mainstream media of doing the same thing. So, my first question. What the hell happened on Sunday?
Well, it was definitely a mess. It was an entertaining mess, but
100%.
it was certainly a mess.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I read this thing on Twitter the night after the debate, and everybody was saying Trump was a bad guy and whatever. He was vulgar, and they're like, this is like getting to the 7th Harry Potter book and realizing that Voldemort might be a bad guy. Like, we were all of a sudden kind of shocked. We're like, wow, Trump said stuff that wasn't professional or presidential. And I expected that, and I said that the last time we talked about this, that it was expected. But one thing that I was extremely surprised at and incredibly disappointed was what Elliot mentioned in his intro. The bias towards Hillary Clinton was disgusting.
It was.
Like, I lost a lot of respect I had for Anderson Cooper because he's done a lot of good journalism in his career. And I don't know, it bothered me, regardless of what side you're on and whatnot. I mean, Trump is the legitimate candidate. We got to this point, we're here, treat him as you would any other candidate.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I have to say.
For sure. No, it was. I kind of expected it from CNN, Clinton News Network. It was definitely bad. It was definitely a lot of anger from the moderators towards Trump, and regardless of how they feel about Donald Trump, which is obviously
Not
negatively.
so good.
I don't think it was right to be kind of arguing with Trump the whole time. I think sometimes it was legitimate because sometimes he was in fact avoiding the question.
Yeah.
However, that
That's
kind of
him.
begs the question: when the candidate is avoiding the moderator's question, maybe don't argue with him on it and just let the American people see that and take that as they will.
I feel like for this debate, like, a major issue regarding it is the fact that for this debate, like, when we saw with the first debate, there was only one moderator, and now that we have two, you think the debate would be a lot more, there would be a lot more accountability with it, and you just saw there's a total lack because regardless if you do agree with Hillary Clinton or with Donald Trump, even if they were both attacking Hillary Clinton only, that'd still be unjust and unfair regardless who it is.
Yeah.
So it's just ridiculous. that whole debate.
It's kind of sad too, because like this was supposed to be a town hall debate. The purpose of a town
Right.
hall debate is to go to the audience, and to go to the undecided voters that they brought in, and to give them, a chance to ask their questions and get their own opinions heard.
Like with the last debate too, with before I'm saying with Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, they were actually directly speaking to the audience.
It was a professional.
You didn't see that as much
debate.
in
Yeah.
comparison to Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
Oh, yeah.
Even with Ken Bone, right? Ken Bone put the best question on the planet, but this
Oh yeah, that's a talking point for
it just
later,
didn't
but
work. It just
And
didn't
you-
work.
I think the panel that they had of voters was good.
Oh yeah, no, it was diverse. It was
The guy who kind of looked like Kevin Malone from The Office. I thought he was good, and I thought overall they were great. I think it was a great idea to do that.
Yeah.
I just think that the moderators could use some work.
Yeah.
And one thing I was thinking about.
Understandable.
I don't know who the moderator is for the third debate. I do think it's been announced, but I don't know off the top of my head who it is. I was thinking, we've had a left-winger for the first debate. We've had 2 left-wingers for the second debate. Isn't it only fair now to
For the
have
third
a
one?
far right
So
But if you
so-
believe that, who would you recommend then?
Bill O'Reilly?
Really?
I don't know. Like, okay, we couldn't have someone who has already endorsed Donald Trump, which is an issue.
So then the other moderators, they haven't endorsed Hillary Clinton then?
I don't know.
They
Like,
pretty,
they very well might
pretty
have.
much
Yeah.
have.
No, but I'm saying like
I don't think
public
they
endorsement.
directly have explicitly
I
endorsed
don't
it.
really think they need to. I think we get it. We got the idea.
You can kind of tell from
Oh,
what somebody
yeah.
says.
Oh yeah.
So that brings me to my next question. Is it right for independent news organizations like CNN, CBS to host and moderate the debates, or should third-party companies be the ones at the helms? Because obviously we've seen bias, right? And then if you have somebody like Fox News, you might see bias towards Trump,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what do you guys think?
The problem with that is that you want to get viewers. Like, you're gonna have a network that's gonna have bias, but you
Mhm.
need the purpose of the debate is for people to watch. If you get like an independent news channel, and a lot of that's coming now with the internet boom. If you get,
Mhm.
let's say, some website to stream it, you're not gonna have a wide viewership. So I think that
You
maybe,
do need a media network
you
to
need
get the views.
a mass media network, and as painful as it is for me to say that, you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe we can consider the idea of like letting CNN, and I think this is impossible, but letting CNN use their reach to the American
Like the
people and to the
resources,
worldwide
yeah.
network, and having a neutral moderator come in
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and moderate the debate.
I mean, I'd say there are plenty of people who are supporting neither candidate
Yeah.
who would be good moderators.
Yeah.
And one thing I was thinking, these debates are at a university. Why not bring in someone from the university?
Yeah, bring in the dean of politics.
Yeah.
the dean of history. The dean.
Yeah,
of,
exactly.
Good point. Yeah.
But somebody who's for free speech, not somebody who censors it, like most campuses.
Mhm.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, next question. A big zinger at the debate, and my favorite, was at this moment right here. So, Marshall, if you pull it up.
Oh,
Wrong one?
I apologize.
Second one.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
see you on the next presidential debate.
And you can just, yeah. So if you stop, yeah.
I thought
so
that
you
was
can,
brilliant.
You can
That
hear.
was hilarious.
You can just hear the crowd. So the question: what does that tell you about Trump, about Hillary, and the public's support or anger against that sentence?
Well, they're in St. Louis. St. Louis is pretty Republican typically, and I think that. I mean, I just thought it was really funny, regardless
Yeah.
of the validity of it. I thought it was really funny, and I thought it was it raises a good point of should Clinton have gotten in more trouble than she did for the emails, for the Benghazi issue.
Yeah.
Was she being treated well or better than she should have been because of our current government, and would she have been treated differently in a different government if her good friend Barack Obama wasn't the leader of the country?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
One of my friend's dads told me that when you bring a reality TV star into the presidential election, it turns into a reality TV show. And we've had gaffes in past election. With Mitt Romney's binders full of women.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah, simpler times, right? Like
Yeah.
that was controversy 4 years ago.
Oh man.
And it's entertainment. Like we've all said it, that this debate was very entertaining, and it's really taking away from the main issues. Like,
Yeah.
you would really hope that when the moderator, I think it was Anderson Cooper, right, that asked
Yeah.
Trump, did you
Did you say it?
gloat about sexually assaulting
Mhm.
women, and then he basically said, "I will defeat ISIS."
Yeah, that was very
Right.
strange.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was actually watching. I think just because it was Thanksgiving Sunday, right? Was it Sunday?
It was the Sunday. Yes.
It was a Sunday, and
Yeah.
then I started I was watching it like halfway through the Blue Jays game. I'm like, you know, I'll put on the debate if I need to.
Because what's
And-
more entertaining, right?
Yeah,
The debate or the
both
Blue
of them
I
are
Jays?
think it's more
Boston, so-
entertaining than baseball. You know, no offense to baseball.
Yeah,
fans.
I would agree with that.
But the point is, like, I was paying full on attention. I heard Anderson Cooper's question, and like, the whole response was a 2 minute. They have 2 minutes to reply.
Yeah.
Donald Trump said absolutely nothing related to
Yeah,
the
it's-
question. I
it's,
was like, this is
oh,
really?
completely
It's
ridiculous.
locker room talk, and I will defeat ISIS. That's basically like,
Do a great
You know
impression.
it. I know it.
yeah,
Everybody
you
knows
know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. Gotta
So
defeat
that's how
ISIS.
he cites his sources. You know it, I know it, everybody.
Mhm, exactly.
Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to share the live feed that we have going on to
Of
Facebook.
of course.
Just to,
We have a live feed going.
So guys, check it out. We got 3 viewers, 5 viewers. Let's go, guys. Come
Whoa.
on.
500% improvement from.
We can do it. We can make the Raben Report.
Yeah, you
popular.
know, like,
I mean, some people have visited our page across the globe,
The globe.
like from like Thailand and France and Israel and.
Really? Or where can you
Yeah.
see that?
So it says in the analytics, right?
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, so back on track. A big subject during the debate was, as you guys stated, Trump's leaked audio of him talking to Access Hollywood's Billy Bush about groping women. And many Republicans, including Speaker of the House Paul Ryan, have begun distancing themselves from Trump. And fun fact, Paul Ryan was actually in the group of undecided voters. There was a picture of him in
I think that
in
was
that session.
That was a fake
Photoshop.
picture.
That was a fake picture. It was from The Onion.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, but point is, he is at this point undecided.
Yeah.
But so Trump dismissed these comments as locker room talk and accused Bill Clinton of putting those ideas into action. Do you think this killed Trump's presidency, or can he leap over it and continue on his road to power?
I feel like people don't even care. People
no,
don't really care.
I think
what he says
people
anymore.
care. He's lost the faith of a lot of influential Republicans. He's
Yeah.
lost
John
the
McCain.
faith of my favorite Republican, John McCain.
Chief of one of the Supreme Court justices that was grilling Clinton about the whole Benghazi scandal. What is it, Chavez?
Yeah, and
When I said
Paul
that,
Ryan. And Paul Ryan's a key
when I'm
one.
referring to like, people don't care, I'm saying like voters don't
Yeah.
actually care.
Yeah.
If you, I forget, I was reading some sort of article like, regardless of its validity or not, it was saying how like Trump has a majority of male voters on his side right now, and Clinton has like a far greater majority
They
of female
actually
voters.
did a graph of that. 538 did a whole.
Yeah,
thing.
that was. I saw that. That was interesting.
Yeah.
So like, the point being is like actual voters, like they've been like so like, just not necessarily sucked in, but like they've been like listening to everything he
They've
says.
been brainwashed.
Yeah, and they just they
They've
don't really
been
care anymore, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What's
I
also
love the poorly educated.
And what I thought was funny when that
Look
first
at my African American buddy.
when that first came out, and I saw that it was Billy Bush, I looked into who Billy Bush was, and you know he's related to George W. Bush, and
Oh,
I looked.
actually?
Yeah,
Okay.
no way.
the
Like a cousin or
Bush, the
something?
scope of the Bush family is just incredible.
Yeah.
It's like the royal family.
They're one of the oldest American families in the country. They've been in America since the 1600s, and they are
They
just.
come on the Mayfair, like.
They must have,
Old
yeah.
Gerald
Yeah.
W. Bush.
And then they've been in politics since the I think late 1700s with Prescott Bush, and now
Really.
And just been
their
going
whole
down.
family is like athletes. Like they've got family members in the NFL, and they've got politician family members. It's just such a massive, influential family. It's ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like one of us is probably related to the Bushes. There's so many of them.
Please
Well,
don't
look at
let me
Anderson. Look at Anderson Cooper. He's a member of the Vanderbilts.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, to go back to Elliot's question, look, like, I have personally, I really believe the testaments and accusations that are against Bill Clinton by his accusers, by the women that were on Trump's panel before the debate. I sympathize with rape victims. I support these rape victims, but Trump did it for the wrong reasons. He does not care about Bill Clinton's rape victims.
Not really,
He's
no.
doing it to snap back at the Clinton family and Clinton herself. He's trying to cover up his own gaffe. And, you know, Trump is very good at diffusing a question. This is what he's good
It
at.
is, yeah.
Like throughout the entire
Don't you think it's a problem though?
you know, I think it is a very big problem because I don't know any major stance he has on any issue. He is the definition of flip flop.
So I think one of the most important ways, like how he does the flip flopping, as you say, is during the Republican nomination
primaries,
debates,
yeah.
the primaries. Donald Trump before took a very, very important stance on how like he thinks that vaccinations cause abortion. No, sorry,
autism.
autism. My bad, wrong word. And Dr. Ben Carson, who's another nomination, he fully said is like there's no validity on whatsoever. And then he changed his answer in a way like I believe that like instead of like we should lower the amounts of vaccinations for every child, that way we can reduce the possibility of that ever happening.
Yeah, like
and a complete change of opinion. Like, and Hillary Clinton does the exact same thing.
You kind of look at it with like
she changed her stance on gay marriage from the 90s all the way till now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And now, you know, we all know I'm a Trump guy, and what I like about Trump is not him. I don't like him. I like that he loves his country. What I like is his policies. And the problem is, to find his policies, you have to find what is written. You can't go off what he says. You have to find what is written.
Like on his website or something?
On his website and what he's put out. Well, I mean, you can find it all on his website, but what he's put out in different like policy releases, that's what I like. I don't like what he says. I don't like what he does. I don't like how he looks. I like what is written in stone. And
I have seen Trump read 3 written speeches. One was when he called for the Muslim ban.
Mm-hmm.
2 was at AIPAC, the American Pro-Israel lobby.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 was when he was responding to the e-talk comments. Trump is not a what did Obama call him? He's not a facts guy.
Yeah.
He's not a facts guy. That's not his thing. And you know, again with the whole Voldemort thing, it's like getting to the 7th Harry Potter book and realizing that Voldemort's a bad guy. Like, why are we so surprised? Like this guy's been in the public eye for 30 years now. Like, you know, did you watch the video of at Raw versus SmackDown when he?
Oh yeah.
When he like.
Why are we talking about?
When he got to shave.
This is the thing. Like, in a million years, I would never imagine that I would use Raw versus SmackDown and the presidential Republican nominee in the same sentence. Yeah. But that's the character that Trump is, and I think a lot of people like that. He's not the establishment. He's not the establishment. People are tired of the establishment. That's why people like Marco Rubio failed, and even Ted Cruz failed. You know, he's a vampire in the Zodiac Killer, but like, and even people like the very early on Republicans, like Democrats, like the very early on, like Lincoln Chafee and them, like they are like carved in stone establishment.
Wait, you talking about the origins of republicanism?
No. Like early on this election.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, in the primaries. My bad.
But
when I heard Lincoln, I was like, well, he was actually a good person in terms of like Republican from the beginning of the party. Like
you know what? I really
promoted the end of slavery, and they actually wrote that into the Constitution.
I really liked Trump's line when he said, you know, the difference between you and Honest Abe is Honest Abe never told a lie, and that's why you're not like Abraham Lincoln. And Trump genuinely seemed offended that she was comparing herself, or not comparing herself, but kind of invoking Lincoln, who is a figurehead for the Republican
takes
Party.
it very personally that they are the party of Lincoln. They take big pride in that.
And you know, I think
that's something that you should be proud of.
Yeah, your history, like the Liberal Party of Canada calls themselves the party of the Charter, the party of the Constitution.
You're right.
And Adam, just to add what you were saying, that people are done with the establishment. So yesterday, Trump and Clinton both went live at the same time, and I looked at both feeds. So Hillary had about 4,000 people watching at once, right? Mm-hmm. Trump had 15,000, right? So people can say, yeah, they're watching him to see him screw up, but I don't necessarily. I don't think that's the case.
That's not the case. It definitely has to do with Trump voters. Are just way more passionate.
Yeah, they love
because they're more concerned about getting rid of this establishment.
I have yet,
regardless of what he says, like he's a likable guy. Like if he didn't say all that.
See that video of the kid? He was holding a kid, and he was like, yeah, you're way too handsome to be compared to me, because it was like mini Trump he was holding.
That was
like,
cute.
Do you want to go back to your parents or Trump? And then he puts the kid to the mic. He's like, Trump. And then everybody just starts laughing.
That was heartwarming. That really was.
That was cute.
Look,
we're getting requests to talk about Ken Bone.
Okay,
no, that's our next talking point.
So
love me some Ken Bone.
Thank you,
Paige.
So shout out to Paige, by the way.
Love me some Ken
they're
Bone.
they're actually there. Let's go to them live, right there. There they are.
So
there are some viewers of our show right now. Thank you for supporting us.
Say that, actually.
But so about Ken Bone, many have said that the real winner the real winner of the debate was a man by the name of Ken Bone, wearing a bright red sweater on his body and
Very
a
fashionable.
stylish mustache on his face. He asked the candidates a question about their energy policies. And fun fact, after the debate, those red sweaters sold out in the stores.
No way.
Yeah, it's true. So point is, there really are people who genuinely care about the election. What do you guys make of the hype that Ken has caused?
Now, I have to admit something. I missed seeing Ken Bone ask his question live because,
audacity.
and you know,
You haven't.
no,
lived.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
You haven't
Because
lived.
You're
I
just
was-
a terrible person.
I was watching the debate with some friends,
Honestly.
and the friends I was watching with, I know some of them are watching right now. So, and we're watching the debate, and some of the people I was watching it with decided that they wanted to watch baseball instead. So they switched it. I missed Ken Bone.
Marshall, we forgive you.
I went
forgive you.
I went to a different room and watched the debate instead. But
We forgive you.
you know, thanks a lot, guys.
Do we though? Like, do
You know
we
what?
though?
I
Like,
think
how can you miss
think
Ken Bone?
for keeping peace in this house, I think that we need to forgive Marshall.
Yeah.
Peace. What are you talking about? This place. You're
In
supposed
talking
to
about
get
all
triggered,
seriousness
man.
about his question,
Hmm.
like he actually had a good question.
Yeah.
He
He
did.
had an amazing
Yeah,
question.
that's the thing.
Like, okay, you know,
I'm gonna pull it up actually.
a lot of people loved Bernie Sanders because he was a cute guy. He was a cute old
Yeah.
Jewish man.
Mhm.
He had that appeal to him.
Little Zadie there.
Yeah, little Zadie, exactly.
Continue, sorry. I just wanted to like.
And-
but-
Like, again, bringing up the point, he was not the establishment, he was the independent, you know, the longest-serving independent in congressional history and whatever. But, you know, people are looking for that guy. I mean, like, throughout this debate, have you seen on Twitter, Little Miss Flint?
Yeah.
There's a young pageant model from Flint, Michigan, and we all know Flint's been plagued with a terrible water crisis brought on by their terrible Republican governor and whatnot. But
Chris Christie.
no, Rick Snyder.
Oh my bad.
Chris Christie is New Jersey.
Wait, what would you say then?
Flint, Michigan.
Oh, Michigan.
You
my
know,
bad.
you know how they have a
Yeah.
whole water
Yeah,
crisis.
the water
Anyway,
system.
so Little Miss Flint was came into light when she met President Obama, and Obama was talking about the Flint crisis, and she's like this cute little girl, and then, you know, she meets Trump, and she has like this sour face.
Yeah.
And the picture went viral. We're looking for the stars of this election that are
Mhm.
not the candidates. And there was a point that I wanted to make earlier, relating to what Elliot said about the difference in viewership between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. No Democrat really likes Hillary Clinton.
She's boring. She's really boring.
She's really boring, and,
She's so bland though.
and she's
like she's
bland,
not even-
like boiled rice.
Yeah.
Like you eat it, but
boiled. I would vote for boiled rice over Hillary.
like, boiled
in
rice,
all
boiled
honesty.
rice for president 2016.
Yeah.
Like,
After Ken Bone.
and she's not very trustable, and she said that herself, and they made fun of it on SNL. You know, you hate me, you hate my voice, and I will run for president until the day I die. So vote me in, and I promise I'll never come out of my office. Like that's the appeal that Hillary Clinton has. She doesn't have one.
Yeah.
So
You know, no, her voice is a big
Yeah,
thing. It's a
yeah,
grating
no,
voice. Pokemon, go to the polls.
Pokemon go to. I want to be as Beyonce is a performer. I want to be that as president. Like
It's a good impression. Yeah.
President Obama.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the guests are rocking to Beyonce. By the way, shout out to Darren. She's gonna get mad at me if I don't.
Hey,
Shout out to Parker Shaw, who's been watching it religiously. Yeah.
Oh,
shout out
okay.
to my boys in the cult group
And
chat.
then to my friends as well.
What
The,
if we just shout? Period.
my
Just-
donkeys.
just too triggered. Too triggered.
Yeah, I'm too triggered.
Anyway,
moving
continue.
on.
So Ken Bone.
Ken Bone.
You know, I think these are the moments that make the election special. That make
Yeah,
the election year
exactly.
special. Will he have a significant impact?
People
No.
are gonna forget about him in
Yeah.
about a week.
But you know, it's nice to see. He's just I hear people calling him the human personification of a hug. And you know, I would agree with that. And you know, it's just
It's the
like,
mustache. It's the mustache.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
the
little
Ned
lift, the
Flanders.
little lift
He's kind of like
too.
a big Ned
A
Flanders.
big Hadley Doodley, like that
Yeah.
kind of like
Ned Flanders.
yeah.
Yeah, you watch The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't watch
Okay,
The
okay.
Simpsons?
Yeah, pop culture.
Just checking. But yeah, you know, like he's not gonna have a big impact or anything, but it's just nice.
Yeah.
It's just and you know what? When I think about it, I'm trying to remember these characters that we had in the 2012 election, the
I
2008
can't.
election. I can't remember any of them. I'm sure there was some,
Yeah.
but you know, that's the point. You forget about them. They're great for the time, but you forget about them. He did ask a good question, which a lot weren't asking. He did ask about the energy policy. Decided to get some actual answers out of the candidates instead of just mudslinging, which is nice.
Right.
And what I really liked was the question about what do you respect about the other candidate?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good question.
Yeah.
And the moderators said we want to fit in one more. I don't know if they knew
Oh,
that was the
that
question.
was
They-
so
I feel
on
like they
purpose.
did.
That
They
was
did.
so on
Yeah.
purpose.
Because that was amazing. And Hillary didn't even say something good about him. She's like, yeah, I like your kids.
Yeah, like
It's like
I
it's-
respect Donald's children.
Children, yeah. And then surprisingly, Donald said, I like that you're determined,
She's
right?
a fighter. She
She-
never quits.
she-
She's a fighter.
Your impression is just spot on,
Oh, thank
honestly.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
What was your actual question, Elliot?
Well, okay, it was originally about Ken Bone, but then we moved on to where did we move on? Oh, the fact that they like each other, or the question asked about
Mhm.
them liking each other. So let's move on to the next one. Now, another extremely pro-Hillary network by the name of CNN, Clinton News Network, was caught swaying undecided voters. We actually have the audio. Marshall, if you could play it.
Certainly.
Pause it. So, that's okay. Yeah. So
Would
that's
segue into the thing.
yeah. Nice music. Yeah. So that's what happened. CNN was caught tricking voters or colluding them into
Let's
saying
talk about
pro
the
Hillary.
question you asked.
Right. So
yeah.
the question itself is, how can the public trust the mainstream media when such collusion and deceit goes on? Like, you could tell
They
that she was
can't.
telling them what to say.
They can't. The
Like
mainstream media, the media party, is
The media.
they're to be trusted, really. Now, what I've always said is, you never look at one media outlet and say that's a good media outlet, because none of them are good all the way through. There are good contributors, is what I see.
Yeah, I feel like they're a perfect source to gain information,
Mm-hmm.
regardless. And then there's a possibility that their information might be false, and hopefully that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But the main idea is, just because, let's say, CNN's opinion or whatever they say, don't just regurgitate it and put it into your mind and say that's
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Use that information in order to find a way and to develop your own opinion, and look into different other media sources as well.
And it's important not to look at the general opinion
I also
of
suggest
the,
not to look at the Onion as a credible source, because they're not.
but
The
the
click hole.
the general opinion of
good
the
clickbait.
of the outlet. That's not what you should be looking at, in my opinion. It's more, for example, I don't like CNN, but I like Wolf Blitzer. And then Fox News. I like some things from Fox News. I don't.
But I hate Bill O'Reilly. But
I don't like Bill O'Reilly. I personally like Ann Coulter. A lot of people don't like her. She was bad
She
in
was
the past.
roasted so hard at
Yeah.
the roast.
People don't like her.
But
Did
you know
she
what?
even know it was a roast?
She's gotten
Just-
better. She's got a lot of people don't believe me when I say that, but she has gotten so much better. And there's other good contributors on Fox News, like especially Red Eye, their late night show. I would highly recommend it for skeptics of Fox News, because it's actually quite well rounded.
Thoughts on Megyn
Um,
Kelly?
I like Megyn Kelly. I think Megyn Kelly, is very smart with a lot of things she says. I think that the whole drama with Donald Trump was a bit overwrought. But
That's the thing. That's part of the entertainment
Yeah.
election.
but yeah, I don't think you should be looking at the outlet as a whole. Look at the contributors individually. That's just my take on it.
Like this the birth of the tech age brought on the ability to have access to so many different sources. Like my dad, as a kid, my dad grew up as an Arab living in Israel, and the Israeli Arabs only had one major news source, and it was run by the Communist Party. So a lot of Arabs in Israel are communist and left-leaning because that was their only news source. But now,
almost in a sense like they're forced to
yeah,
have that opinion.
not forced, but that's the only like
But it shaped
it shaped their sense of and now you can get newspapers from all over the world.
Sure.
Any opinion you want it, you got it. Like, that's the beauty of the internet. And And the problem, like the problem with that brings on, you get all this information: what's real, what's not, what's good, what's bad, and you might have an oversaturation, but you have so much at your fingertips. It's incredible. Like, I swore by the Star, the Toronto Star, my whole life. I was like, I bled blue, basically. And then I realized, I was like, you know what? Maybe this newspaper isn't all that great. Maybe it has some, very left-leaning opinion, like journalists and whatnot. Maybe I should expand, or I should broaden my media outlet sources. And I'm really glad I did that, because I've been open to a lot of different opinions, and not necessarily like alt-right, but like a little center-right. Never hurts to go a little right of center.
Yeah.
I feel like the problem with media outlets, though, is the way they use headlines in order to grab the
Yeah, no,
people's attention.
everything is clickbait. Like John Oliver did this whole thing about clickbait and how like it's shaping journalism, how many likes you get, how many shares you have.
Exactly.
It's a currency now, the currency of likes.
And so for me, like, I wish, like, I do feel like I need to like expand my horizon
Yeah,
in
we're,
terms of
like-
media. Like, I don't even look at CNN. Like, sometimes I look at the Toronto Star. Like, I mean, because like newspapers almost dead as a media outlet, unfortunately.
unfortunately.
It's a good media outlet in order to like people to express their
It's
opinions.
all gonna shift online.
But it's all
Yeah,
electronic.
They're
it's
beating,
not-
they're
it's
beating
bad.
a dead horse.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that newspapers are
Like,
bad at all.
you can
it's
actually
just-
look at like Snapchat and like the Discover part, like with CNN, Vice, Vox. Like
Mhm.
I know some people might not agree with those.
But
sort of
even
decisions.
BuzzFeed.
They're a good
to
place to
some
yeah.
extent.
BuzzFeed is too. Like they're a good place to get information,
Mhm.
statistics, as long as they back it up.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
a perfectly good way to get your news, your daily news outlets.
I find that when it comes to getting, obviously, like if you're more right leaning, you want kind of news sources that are right leaning sometimes, because otherwise you're just getting stuff that's left leaning.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
really it's so hard to find
Yeah.
neutral media.
It's hard.
I don't even think there is.
No,
it's
there
possible,
really
because
isn't.
everybody, because we're
Humans are
naturally
inherently biased.
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
like we always favor one opinion. We can never just stay fully neutral, and
Yeah.
even when we say we do, we might not say it out loud, but we have it in our minds,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like
Oh,
we
yeah.
might not be directly involved in the conflict, right? But you're taking sides no matter what.
No matter what.
It's just
you
how it
do.
works.
And with Canadian media, I find it's very hard to find more right leaning news sources. I mean, if you look at
Incredible right-leaning sources.
yeah, like good ones. Like I mean, and the Rebel, like they're good sometimes.
media's
but, like,
hilarious.
yeah, it's kind of more infotainment a lot of the time. And then if you look at the U.S., there's plenty of good right-leaning sources like Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, just to name a few. But with Canadian news sources, like I guess Maclean's,
As
To
a
some
neutral
extent.
one or as a right one?
to some extent,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. No, like there is no neutral ones. That's the problem.
So you'd say Maclean's is more
Maclean's is more like conservative.
Right.
They endorse the Conservative Party.
okay.
The Toronto Star is more liberal. Definitely.
The rebel media
Yeah.
actually sometimes they have stuff that's like just like completely on the offensive, and I like it more when they have stuff that's not necessarily attacking anybody but just getting information.
Yeah,
So
and they
I
do
watched-
have great stuff like
I
that.
watched like the two videos I saw was like actually the recent development in the University of Toronto with that professor
Oh
who
my
was
Mm.
refusing to use
goodness
his pronouns.
gracious.
Regardless of what you like, I really don't care.
Marshall's triggered.
What I'm saying, all I'm saying
We
is,
gotta have a sound effect for
Oh, yeah.
that.
what I'm saying is
I'll
though,
make
like,
one. I'll make the horns by itself.
what I'm saying is though, like, what's her name? Laura Southern.
Lauren Southern.
Oh my
Laura
God,
she
Southern. She went and
went
interviewed
there.
people, right?
Yeah.
And she wasn't even looking like, so it's like, oh, like,
Yeah.
do you hate transgender people or something? Like, she wasn't like trying to attack transgender people. All she was doing was trying to get information.
Yeah.
And the transgender community, unfortunately, was being attacking, saying like, oh, you're only interviewing cis white males or stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And like after over time, you see at the end of the interview, she actually interviewed somebody who's transgender,
And they were
that-
totally nice.
And she was,
Yeah.
and the person who interviewed, she's a perfectly chill person.
Yeah.
And like,
So
what
that-
she was saying is completely different to what other people were saying they were
Exactly.
attacking. She's like,
And-
oh, I want to have an open discussion with the professor and actually talk
Yeah.
about this stuff. And so everybody else was just attacking, calling the professor
And
misogynist
saying that it-
and like racist or like whatever they want to say. All this hate speech. So they're saying that he's like a hateful person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and saying that they wouldn't be safe there. I
And-
mean, they haven't even tried.
Oh my
And
God.
some of the
So-
people like actually didn't even listen to the
What she
listen
said.
to what the professor
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And also,
Or
there,
what the Laura
there was
said.
another video she published. It was like a minute long. She was literally just standing, not even. She was looking at somebody, right? And this individual, transgender individual, started getting incredibly angry with her. Started walking up to her and started hitting her. right?
Yeah.
And
Or were they
that's,
blocking the cameras and stuff like that?
no,
Like-
not even that. Like
No,
nobody
but I'm
was
saying
blocking.
that's
That's what
still
that
a
was.
problem.
Yeah, they were blocking cameras. You know, even though it's a public place, they're legally allowed to film people, right? But
Right.
but they were, you know, this person came up to them, to Lauren, and started hitting her, right? And then a whole fight broke out. And then a different transgender person, they're smiling, they're grinning like crazy. They come up and there's cops there, right? She's in the background of the video. She's seen everything that happened with Lauren and that individual.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to the cop, officer, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything, right? And she's smiling, she's grinning, whatever.
They're
and
protecting each other, but
but the
yeah.
thing is, and at the end of the video, she flips off the camera, like and knowingly, like what, you know what? If you want to have an educated discussion, I'm not saying everybody's like that, but you know, come on, like
But look,
how
like,
who does that help?
Whenever somebody sees a camera, they automatically have a feel need to like attack or
Yeah.
defend themselves.
And
I'm
and
not.
stuff
I'm
like
not
that.
trying to justify the behavior of the transgender community, but they've been facing discrimination since their formation as
That's
a,
true.
See,
Yeah.
that's the
as
thing,
a
like-
public unit, and they have to protect each
The-
other
yeah,
because
problem with
nobody
that-
else
The
will.
point is though, you know, the left considers themselves for free speech. You know, they want to protect, and considering you just hit
Oh,
a
they
woman,
don't anymore.
that
Yeah, but
considering that this guy just hit a woman,
Mhm.
are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
And you know
Like,
what?
What
that
I'm
kinda
saying is,
says
like,
something
we
about-
can't associate just whatever
Yeah.
the people that we saw on camera as the transgender
No, they are
community.
not.
We
Oh,
can't
of course
label
not.
them
No,
all,
no,
you know?
no, they're
not
definitely
their
I know, but that's what I'm
representatives.
saying. It's a
Yeah.
problem.
I find it's not the marginalized people who are the ones who are like that, who are
It's the people
kind
who
of
are
attacking
active in
free
the
speech.
community.
It's exactly. It's more the
social justice
the other
warriors.
people. So it's never like so you know at a rally for. So,
Actually, the
I don't
White
know
Chapel
something
leadership
something that
was going on
involves
right now.
transgender interests
They
in
were
some way.
before that,
You
so-
won't find
Gay pride.
typically the transgender people who are the ones attacking people and such. It's the demisexual dragonkin people
Oh my god.
who are the ones who are attacking.
Please explain
people.
that to the people who don't know.
Okay.
Explain it.
So-
Like, if you said it, you have to
It's not
explain it.
even-
Dragonkin. I'll talk about dragonkin.
No, say
Dragon-
the demisexual.
Oh my
okay,
God,
demisexual.
alright.
And now you know what? I'm not gonna disrespect anybody who identifies as that. I'll explain what it is, and take your.
No, it's just for
Take your
awareness. And
Yeah,
so the
no,
audience
just to
is
give us
aware.
like.
So,
a,
demisexual
I don't even
is
know
when-
what that means.
You will not have sexual relations with somebody unless you have an emotional,
Romantically involved with
spiritual,
them?
romantic
Yeah.
connection with them. It's considered its own sexuality. Take that as you will.
Okay.
And so then we have dragonkin. And actually, I grew up with somebody who is
Identifies as that?
dragonkin. Yes.
So explain.
And so dragonkin are people who, I don't want to say it's like the same idea as transgenderism because I don't think it is. But take the idea of transgenderism where you are a woman trapped in a man's body or a man trapped in a woman's body, except you're a
Gender
dragon.
dysphoria.
You're a dragon trapped in a human's body,
Okay.
and you need to do things like eat jewelry.
Um,
And
wow. Okay.
and you
That's
breathe fire
interesting.
and you fly and things like that.
Okay.
So where was this exactly then? Somebody's identifying as this, or
Well, there are people who identify as that.
No,
and I
that-
was just using this as an example. as
Okay,
those
okay.
are the people who are the violent ones, the dragonskin, the fox.
I mean, it's a dragon. They're gonna be violent.
You're right. You know what? You can't blame them.
But still,
dragons.
but you know, like
I don't like Donald Trump. I respect his children, but Eric Trump, his pin tweet, Eric Trump is liberals love the First Amendment, which is free speech, until somebody says something they disagree with.
Yep.
And that has
that's a good point.
become become the paradigm for the left. And I identify as part of the left. And it pains me to see, all the looting that goes on during Black Lives Matter, all the hate that
it's
happens.
a whole different show right there, honestly.
All the hate that happens during gay pride, even the anti-Semitism in the BDS movement. We'll get into that in a different
Yeah.
show. But all that, like, it's taking away from the message at hand. Like, you look at the March on Washington, peaceful march.
yeah, and
That is the root of civil protest. During G20, the government set up designated parks with outhouses and water stations for protesters because it's our right to protest.
yeah.
Setting cars on fire, looting, breaking windows, and everything. And
Uncalled for.
on the opposite side, the police behaved disgustingly, removing name tags and such. But that's a different thing. Like, you're taking away from the message, and you're branding yourself as a hate group,
And
and you're ruining it for everybody else.
you look back at the civil rights movement. Who is the face of the civil rights movement? Is it Martin Luther King Jr. or is it Malcolm X? You can say that Malcolm X was an important guy,
Mhm.
but who is the face?
Martin
of it?
Luther King.
Martin Luther King.
And you know why?
Do people think
Because
that it's Malcolm X? Do you think
Some would say.
Really?
I would
say
disagree.
that.
I would
I-
disagree
I
because
know that he was an important
Malcolm
part.
X
But
took a
here,
different
let me
approach
get to my
the civil
point.
rights
Yeah,
movement.
Do you know
Like,
why Martin Luther King Jr. is the face of it all? Because-
died.
Well, so did Malcolm X.
I know,
Malcolm X
but-
was assassinated, but because he achieved what he set out to achieve peacefully. There was some agitation for
Mhm.
sure. He did participate in some agitation, and nothing wrong with that.
Even Mandela started as violent.
And he began as a terrorist. Like, he was a
Martin
terrorist.
Luther
in a
King
sense.
Jr.
In
was a
sense of the word.
peaceful guy, and got his means, got his objective completed
Yeah.
through peaceful means. Malcolm X, however, advocated for violent and disruptive.
He also was
means.
like in the beginning of his life a supporter of black supremacy and all that.
And he was like robbing establishments and things like that. Famously played Russian roulette by himself while robbing an establishment.
That's a little psychopathic.
Yeah, and so there's a reason why Malcolm X is not the face of the movement. He's known for probably his actions after when he renounced the violence, but
that's when he converted into Islam.
well, that was after he left the Nation of Islam.
Sorry,
because
yes.
he wasn't just a Muslim; he was a member of the Nation of Islam, which is
See,
a
that's the
totally
thing.
separate
Like the Nation of Islam, also in the long run, they became as a violent group as well.
Yeah.
Which is
and
goes completely against what the teaching should be
the
considered,
people
right?
who are protesting violently, whether you're protesting a Trump rally or
Mhm.
you're protesting for Black Lives Matter, you're protesting for that bill that would make not using
C-16.
gender-neutral pronouns, C-16.
Mhm.
If you're protesting violently, you're not going to go down in history as the people who achieved your goal. You're going to
Yeah.
go down in history as the people who
As the
were
radicals.
Who
violent
smeared it?
and who
Smeared the
ruined it
campaign.
for everyone else.
But see, Donald Trump has also done a similar thing because in his rally, he's like, "Oh, if you see anybody that's protesting or something,
Punch him in the
you
face. I'll
punch him
pay
in the
your
face." Like
fines.
that's completely ridiculous and should not be called for in the
Yeah.
same way that
that's
other people should
inciting
be
hate,
doing.
in my opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, like I'll give you a
Do you
different
remember the
example.
old guy who just punched that one of those
Yeah,
protesters?
Pepper sprayed a
Yeah.
protester.
The pepper spray, I think, was justified. I think that one was totally justified. I think she was being very violent, and I think
I'm
the
I'm talking
guy-
about the other one in the stadium. When
Yeah,
the,
no,
when,
that was
that guy just punched
yeah,
for
no,
no
that
reason.
was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll give you an example. Like during the whole Ferguson protests, and after years of systemic racism in various police departments in the states, I do not, I fully get the African American community for being violent. They are tired, they've had enough, and they want change. And violence is brewed from all that, all that impatience and frustration, just full blown frustration. And Michael Brown's stepfather, I think, was screaming at the top of his lungs in Ferguson to burn this place down. Let's burn this place down. Let's burn this place down. And, side note, the first night of Ferguson protests were very peaceful. Oriented well and whatever. But the second night, he stood on a car or on a roof and he screamed, "Let's burn this place down." And Ferguson torched their only community center to the ground.
Mhm.
Good for you. You don't have a community center now, and if we know anything about funding for community centers, it's less than nothing.
Yep.
So if you destroy your infrastructure, you've basically destroyed it completely. And good
And
luck.
how important are community centers?
Very, 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 very important.
Mhm.
Even in places like Toronto, you need things
Yeah.
like the East York Community Center, the Overland Community Center.
Yeah.
They are the foundation of communities, poor or rich.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Like, I grew up in Don Mills. The Don Mills Community Center is now facing being torn down, and the community is fighting for their life to keep that
what type
hockey
of
rink.
resources does your community center offer? Like the Don Mills one.
Okay, quickly, there's a whole development happening right now in Don Mills of condos on the Don Way, which is like a very kind
Right.
of, they're trying to make it like a Yorkville-esque
Mm-hmm.
kind of part. One of the planned condos was going to be where the community center is now. The developers were like, okay, we'll build a new community center, and we'll tear down this one. Now they're just like, just kidding, we're not going to build a new community center, we're just going to tear this one down and build a condo. So now they're just trying to look for land, and they've tried to sell TDSB property and everything. And the community is really fighting hard to get this community center. And Don Mills is pretty affluent. It's become quite an
Yeah, for
affluent,
sure.
affluent community.
Right.
But you still need a community center. And you burn it in Ferguson that needs it more than other places, and you burn it down?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that I get the frustration. I get it like 100%, but peaceful protests is an option. It's a valid option, and it's an
It
option
is.
that will make you easily be heard.
Mhm.
If you are professional, you will be appreciated. Your values will be appreciated. John Tory met in full confidence with the leaders of Black Lives Matter. because Black Lives Matter has been very peaceful in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
He validated them, he agreed with them, and he.
But do you think it's necessary to justify those type of violent actions like over time? Like when is it enough is enough? In a sense?
I believe
I would
that
say no.
You'd say no, no matter what case whatsoever.
Okay, you know, I wouldn't say no matter what case. I'd say if the government is completely like is tyrannical, and they are breaking the non-aggression principle, and they're just attacking citizens, then sure.
I think that some form of violence gets people watching,
Mm-hmm.
and by getting people watching, you get your demands kind of sped up and appreciated faster. I mean, like if you look
You can't argue that.
Yeah.
I mean, like for example, in the whole Rosa Parks thing in the States, when she was refused a seat in the front of the bus, the black community refused to use the bus transit in Birmingham. I think it was Birmingham.
I couldn't tell you.
Anyway, in somewhere in Alabama. And
In Selma, Alabama.
in Selma, I believe so. And it brought the city of Birmingham to its knees, begging the black community to use the bus fare because the system was crumbling without their money.
Mhm.
And that's a very peaceful way. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that you have those circumstances in various situations.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at Tunisia in the Arab Spring, I believe that all of the Arab Spring failed except for Tunisia. Tunisia had a very good transition into democracy. And in Tunisia, it got violent. But they got violent fast. If you look at the first intifada in Palestine that brought on the Oslo Accords, they got violent, but they got violent fast. It was like...
We're serious, we mean business.
We're serious, we mean business. And I think violence brings that. Like, you mean business.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you need it to some degree, but like...
it's a problem when it goes like too
When
much.
I was a young anarcho-communist, many years ago,
was that last week?
I was very heavily influenced by a man called Abbie Hoffman,
Okay.
and he was the leader of a group called the Yippies, who were a prominent protest group in the '60s.
Okay.
Abbie Hoffman
is that a play on hippie?
kind of, yeah. It's like youth in power or something like that.
Okay.
And so he's famous for actually going up on stage during the Who's performance at Woodstock, really high on acid and screaming about the conspiracies, and then being hit by the guitarist of the Who with his guitar. I can't remember the name of
So
the
he's
guitarist.
tripping
of the
balls on LSD, on acid, and he's talking about conspiracy
Who. Yeah,
theories?
yeah. But anyway,
Nice.
they
Like
did.
the government saying they did a lizard people and all that
No,
stuff?
not quite. That I don't think that was around yet. But the Yippies, who I looked up to very much at the time, I'm not a fan anymore, but I kind of identify still just because it was a big part of my
Do you
childhood.
identify as a yippie?
No, not anymore. But they were very peaceful, sometimes, except when they blew up that factory in Atlantic Canada.
Okay.
And they kind of did more methods of like raising awareness. They would like put stickers on products in stores. They would just do public protests non-violently. And they got their message across. They were remembered, at least within the counterculture scene, and they did make some change. And I think I still, as a former yippie, really like the very peaceful protest movements. Now we have about 1 minute left. Is there anything else that we need to address?
Well, if the other show doesn't come, we can go to 12.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I mean, we can go to my next question, and if anything, I'll just cut us off, right? Because I don't see
That's
anybody there.
fine.
So,
Okay.
Hillary Clinton called Trump supporters a basket of deplorables,
Yes.
even
Say it again.
unsalvageable.
Say it again.
Hillary called Trump supporters a basket of deplorables,
Donald
even
Trump supporters.
even unsalvageable. Okay.
Yeah.
And at the debate, she was asked how she could unite a country after those comments. She said she apologized, even though after fact-checking she did not. So really, how can she unite a country after
The
that?
fact that she said she apologized is the apology right there.
Yeah, you know what? Like that was an awful thing to say.
Yeah.
When I think that she thought it would be like a rally cry, she thought it would be moralizing, but that was an awful thing to say, calling Trump supporters who, and there is so many Trump supporters. It's a big part of the population. saying half of Trump supporters are racist and homophobes and anti-Semites. I'd say that's a very gross generalization. I'd say that that's offensive to people who support Trump because they like his policies. And, you know, I think that was a really bad move on her part.
Yeah.
I think that probably lost her a lot of undecided support.
Like, okay, Trump has said a lot of bad things. Whether or not he believes any of those bad things, I honestly have no idea. But he never came after Clinton voters.
Mm-hmm.
He never even talked about her
Yeah,
voters.
really.
He just wanted
Nothing
people to
high
gain,
profile.
He just wanted-
people to
yeah.
change their opinions and
He
vote
wanted
for him.
people. No, he wanted to get voters, as any presidential candidate would do. But I can't recall him attacking Clinton supporters at all.
He would attack Clinton, but yeah.
He would attack Clinton, but never.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
his
exactly.
supporters.
Good point.
Like maybe his kids. Like I know that either Donald Trump Jr. shared a thing that's saying that you know, what if only men voted,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was a trend that started on Twitter called "Repeal the 19th," which is disgusting.
Yeah.
Like the 19th Amendment is the right for women
Which
to
was
vote.
okay.
This is
Yeah, that
So
was-
there was this hashtag that started called "Repeal the 19th," and I clicked on it, and not all of it was satirical, and none of it should be satirical to begin with. But regardless, you know, Hillary has said some bad things. She called Bernie Sanders supporters
Basement dwellers.
basement dwellers, baristas living in their mom's basement.
Whoa.
Wow, savage.
She's called African Americans
Super predators.
super
Oh
predators.
yeah,
Predators.
yeah.
She's called. I'm pretty sure she's called every ethnic group or demographic something.
Okay, guys,
Oh, okay.
there is somebody outside, so we gotta go. Let's get the track ready. But thank you all for listening. This was a great show, and
I think
we'll-
Donald Trump won.
Yeah.
in-
So
Oh, yeah.
just really quick, who won? Marshall,
Trump.
Trump, Adam,
Trump.
Trump. and-
Go on the other side, Clinton, maybe? Yeah, I'd say Clinton.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll say
Trigger.
Trump. So 3-1. So thank you all for tuning
Thanks,
in,
everyone.
and
Thanks,
we'll see you
Elliot.
next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Elliot.
Thanks all. Thanks.
That was good. That was
Yeah, that was
good.
solid.
You actually thought the onion was a thing? Oh my god.
Elliot, man.
Literally, I'm like, my friends are watching. One of the people on there thought it was a Incredible Stories. I'm like, no.